In this video, we're going to work through an example of a travel allowance. Okay, so the example has been uploaded for you. It's Penny, who owns a convertible sports car. She uses it both for private and business purposes. She traveled a total of 21,000 kilometers during the current year of assessment, and she kept a detailed logbook of all her traveling. She traveled 6,000 kilometers for business purposes, and she also kept a record of all her running costs. And then the question tells us that the convertible sports car cost Penny 359,584,000 rand, including VAT, and that she received a travel allowance of 82,000 rand for the year. Okay, now I'd like you to stop the video and to make sure that you've done this on your own. It's no use just following through and then you won't know if you understand. So stop it now, pause it, do the example. How much of the travel allowance will be included in Penny's taxable income? Okay, let's hope that you've done it on your own now. So we're going to start working out how much needs to be included in her taxable income. Well, the question tells us that she received 82,000 rand as an allowance. So we put that in the middle column. It's not going to go into your taxable income column yet, because you first need to work out the cost of business travel to see how much of that 82,000 she's going to be taxed on. And the question tells us that she kept a logbook and that she traveled 6,000 kilometers for business purposes during the current year of assessment. So what we really need to do is have a look at the cost per kilometer. Now remember, there's two amounts that we can use for cost per kilometer. We can use the actual, or we can use the deemed, which is the tables. Now we can only use the actual when the taxpayer has kept record. So you'll see in this example that Penny kept record of all her running costs for the convertible sports car. So we know that these are going to be documented for us. We just need to make sure that we take all of them into account as in the question. So if we get back to our answer, we're going to start off by calculating the actual cost per kilometer, because this taxpayer has kept records. And it doesn't matter what order you do them in, but we'll start off with wear and tear. And the question tells us the cost of the vehicle, including VAT. If it doesn't include VAT, you need to include VAT at 15%. The Tax Act says for travel allowance, you need to divide it by 7 years, so spread the cost over 7 years, which gives us an amount of 51369. Okay, the question also tells us that finance charges on the vehicle were 12,413 rand, and that the running costs were 17,024 rand. There's one thing that I would like you to be clear about, is this 359,584. That's got a maximum for the current year of assessment of 665,000 rand. So as soon as that cost of the vehicle exceeds 665,000 rand, you'll limit it to 665,000 rand. So if we carry on with the example, the total costs for Penny add up to 80,806 rand. And if we divide that by the total kilometers, remember total cost divided by total kilometers gives us a cost per kilometer. That gives us 3 rand and 84 or 85 cents. The Act does work in 3 decimal places, so we'll work with 3 decimal places. Now we're not just going to use that amount, because the taxpayer can also calculate the deemed cost per kilometer, or cost per kilometer as per the tables. So if you turn to the back of your textbook, you'll see that you find the travel allowance tables in terms of section 8, or you can Google them on the web, and you'll see the table here talks about the value of the vehicle, and then it gives you certain amounts in the columns, like I told you in the previous video. So in this case, we're going to look for the value of her vehicle, which is 359,000, and we see that that falls in between 285 and 380, and there's the three figures that we're going to take off the tables. The first one's 102,000 rand, the next one's 138 cents per kilometer, and the last one's 56.4 cents per kilometer. So we can't just add those three together. Some are cents per kilometer and some are rands. So if we go back to our calculation, our deemed cost per kilometer, we're going to start off with the fixed cost. Now this fixed cost in the table is given for a taxpayer for the full year of assessment. So in this question, Penny did use the vehicle for a full year of assessment, so we don't need to pro rata reduce that 102,000 rand. So we use the 102,000 rand from the tables and we divide it by total kilometers to give us a fixed cost of 4 rand 86 cents or 87 cents per kilometer. Remember here we've got rands divided by kilometers. That gives us a rand per kilometer. So the next thing we read off the tables is the fuel cost. Now the fuel cost was 138 cents. If we divide it by 100, we get to 1 rand 38. And the maintenance cost was 56.4 cents. If we divide that by 100, we can also convert it to rands per kilometers because there's 100 cents in a rand. And that gives us a total cost per kilometer in rands of 6 rand 81 cents, but we're going to work in the 3 decimal places. Now remember, for the actual cost, we got to an amount of 3 rand 84 or 3 rand 85. Obviously the deemed cost of 6 rand is much higher. It's going to give her a much bigger deduction. So then we're going to use the deemed cost when we calculate the unexpended portion. Of course, when you're doing a question, you need to show all of these calculations and show which one you chose to use, because when we mark it, we want to see not just the answer, but we want to know that you understand the principles. Okay, so if we then show the answer, you can show these calculations as a calculation or a note, or you can show it in the body of your question, however you decide. So it's the travel allowance of 82,000 rand less the cost of business travel, which in this case is 6,000 kilometers times 6,811, which gives us 40,866 rand. If we reduce the travel allowance by that amount, it means that 41,134 rand is included in her taxable income. This probably means that her employer is paying her far too high an allowance, and she won't have paid all the pay as you earn on it at this stage, and we'll look at that when we do remuneration and pay as you earn. But yeah, at this stage what you need to understand is that she's only expended 40,000 rand on business travel, and the rest will be included in her taxable income.